Sorry I couldn't be there, guys. I have a tennis match going on at the same time. But let's begin. Jacob or Henry, if you could flip through the slides while I talk about them, that would be appreciated. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the Battle of the Somme. Now, the duration of this battle took place from July 1st, 1916 to November 18th, 1916. Now, the main purpose was not really to take land. That was a secondary purpose, right? The main purpose was to inflict heavy casualties on German material and German manpower, right? To really suck in resources from the Battle of Verdun that's happening at the same time. So that's also a main purpose, was to divert German resources from the Battle of Verdun, which the French are really suffering at the same time. So if you look at the numbers on the right, it is not given on the sources. I couldn't find one. So what I did is I just took the average number of troops in a German, French, or British division, and I kind of just multiply it. It was designed to give you a visual of how many people are taking part in this offensive. Let's meet the leaders in this offensive. First, we have General Douglas Haig. He was the British commander that will be mainly leading and planning for this offensive. It was nicknamed the Butcher Haig due to the 2 million casualties suffered during his command. He was most known for the 100th-day offensive, the offensive that initially ended the war, and the creation of the territorial forces, which is fun. For the German side, there is General Erich von Falkenhayn, commanded during the First Battle of Marne, so basically the first battle on the Western Front, and was the figure that planned the opening stages for this offensive going on. He was also famous for his command of the Ottoman Empire and during the Romanian entry of World War I. So he was famous for a lot of things. Let's move on to strategies, which I really like. On the British and French side, due to the relatively unexperienced troops that are leading the offensive, most of it from the Kitchener Army, which is a young conscript division force created by Herbert Kitchener. So most of them are ill-prepared and really untrained. And since the Battle of Verdun was happening around the same time, which is really costly for the French, the main people leading the offensive will be the British. So this offensive was originally planned by Haig as a decisive battle that would turn the tide of the Western Front, like many others. It was supposed to be a massive offensive that would gain great ground and break through the German lines. But due to most of the resources getting drawn up by the Battle of Verdun, this offensive became quickly just a limited offensive designed to relieve the Verdun that's happening around the same time. So the primary purpose and strategy was just to waste German resources. The territorial gains in this offensive is kind of secondary. On the German side, due to most of the reserve being sent to the Battle of Verdun, that's also happening at the same time, they're working with way fewer resources than the Allies. So while Falkenhayn originally intended to wait for the British offensive to run out and then have a massive counterattack once the British are exhausted, due to the lack of resources and reserves again, due to the Battle of Verdun, the Germans plan a more unyielding defense with only passive offensives being attempted. So it's way more defensive, and they're supposed to dig in and hold until the last man. Alright, let's begin with tactics. On the British and French side, the Entente Army relied on heavy and overwhelming artillery bombardment before our offensive, and that is designed to do two purposes. One is to shock the Germans to make them ineffective when the British launched their offensive, and the second, is to make them take cover, therefore allowing the British to seize positions like strong points, German machine gun positions, while them having the chance to reman those positions after hiding from the artillery bombardment, basically to disorganize them and to make them ineffective when the offensive starts, and to crush them after with overwhelming force. Now, as the battle continued, the British tactics proved to be fatally poor, due to one, the Germans not really taking cover from the artillery bombardments, due to them not due to many positions not even getting struck by them. So the British moved to more shock assaults, that being assaults made at random points of the day rapidly instead of a mass offensive, which proved to be way better and less predictable. Now, important, the planning for this British offensive was done under the assumption that the German troops that the British will be facing is demoralized, which is just not happening. So on the German side, the main tactics are to hold and then retake. That being, the German division will hold a position until it becomes unfeasible and they will be crushed, where then they will let the British take the position before either at night or immediately, or when it's possible, launching a counter-offensive that will retake the position before the British have a time to really entrench and set up a defense. And the second was to use a multi-layer defense system. So even if a position gets broken, there will be multiple lines behind that one position, making it impossible for the British to actually have a breakthrough and really pursue the German lines. It was kind of like punching against a pillow. It gets absorbed by the multiple lines. And that's my portion of the presentation. Henry, go on.